So I'm at my parents' house, and I'm kind of excited. I have a surprise for them. I haven't told them what the surprise was, but I got the surprise. So I'm sitting there, and I'm hanging out with them, and I say, hey guys, what are you guys doing next Saturday? No, we're not really doing anything, Aaron. Fantastic. What I want to do is I want you, Mom, you, Dad, both my sisters, Han and Miriam. What we're going to do is I want you guys to get dressed up and to be outside the house, dressed up at 6 o'clock. Well, what for? What's going on? Can't tell you. It's a surprise. Just be dressed up. And then dressed up, we got to be kind of fancy. Dresses, we got to wear tie dad. And guys, that's all I'm going to say. Just be ready at 6 o'clock and have a few hours free. All right, no problem. So, next Saturday comes around and I come on over to my parents' house. And they're all getting dressed up and they're all outside. And so they're all dressed up and it was me, my mom, my dad, my two sisters, and my girlfriend at the time. So we're outside. And we're just hanging out outside. And Aaron, what are we doing here? What are we waiting for? What's going on? Guys, got nothing to worry about. It's a surprise. I can't tell you. A few minutes rolls by, and all of a sudden, from the street, we see this big vehicle turn. Big vehicle. And it pulls on up. And this is not just any vehicle. It's a limo. It's actually a stretch Hummer. Holds like 18 to 24 people. There's only 6 of us. It holds 18 to 24 people. Stops right outside my parents in front of their lawn. This is what we're going to get into. Oh, what's going on, Aaron? You got this for us? Yes, I got this for us. Let's go ahead and get in the limo. So we get in the limo. And the driver already knows where he's going. Aaron, where are we going? What's going on? Don't worry about it. It's a surprise. So the limo takes its stretch Hummer. It's a nice one, right? I got the fancy one that has the lights and it's got all the fancy stuff on the inside. We don't need it. We could have gotten a smaller one. Okay, we didn't have to get a Hummer limo. We could have gotten a regular limo that holds 6 to 8 people, but I had to get the one that holds 16, 18, or 24 people. There's only 6 of us. But we get in that one, and we take it, and it's a nice drive, and it's kind of fancy, and we're hanging out. And then we pull up to what I believe is the most expensive restaurant in the metropolitan area. It might not be, but I asked around a bunch of people. I did some research. I know it's one of the most expensive restaurants in the metropolitan area. So we pull up there, and we get out. And, of course, we got a valet. They open the door for us. The limo just hangs out, right? I rented the limo for like 4 hours. And we walk inside, and we're at this fancy restaurant. We walk down this long hallway. So we walk down this long hallway, and there's things to look at, and there's a wine room, and it's all this fancy stuff, and there's all these people all dressed up, and they're greeting us. And we get to the front thing, and I say, hey, I got a reservation for 6 under Aaron Goldsten, because that's me. So we get the reservation, and it walks us to the table, and we're at the fancy restaurant, guys. So at the fancy restaurant, you're not allowed to touch your own chair. So what happens is as you go to sit down, someone comes on over and pulls the chair back. Then you sit down, and as you sit down, they push the chair in. And it's actually kind of an art form, a little bit-ish. It's kind of a little skill because you don't really feel, you're not feeling the chair. So you kind of got to feel as the chair gets scooted in and then sit your butt down at the same time. So we're at the fancy restaurant. It's called Tony's. We're at Tony's. And we're hanging out there. Aaron, what's this all about? Well, this is what this is about. I tell everyone that I'm with. I say I wanted to do something that was going to be memorable, and something to where we could all hang out and just enjoy each other's company and talk. Because when I come over, we do hang out and we do have a good time, but sometimes Dad's watching TV or he's on his iPad. Sometimes Mom's doing this and the girls are up here. So I know if I could get everyone together and do an experience that was a little bit different, take everyone a little bit out of their element, and to where we could do something like this, that we could all hang out and get together and we could just kind of bond and just chat and build rapport and have a good time. So the restaurant, we probably spent about an hour and a half at the restaurant. It's one of those fancy restaurants where they got I don't know how many course meals, but I do know that I ordered one of those things from the ocean. It's like this big. I forget what it's called, but it's like this big, and it's something, and you cut it with it, and it's like this thick. It's this big, and it's white. Okay, I don't know what that's called. A scallop, maybe. I have no idea what it's called, guys. All I know is it was like I got like That was one of the courses of the meal that I got, and it was like 12 or 14 bucks for one of them. But it's okay, no problem. So we paid for the meal. I think the limo ride was, I don't know, maybe 400 bucks. The meal was like, none of us drink alcohol, or it would probably been more, but the meal was, I said, you guys get whatever you want off the menu. You don't worry about it. Get something fancy you're going to enjoy. So they got a lot of them, they got the steak, and the steak's this thick, but somehow, even though it's this thick, they know how to cook it, and it's steak, plus like a little thing of fish, all the fancy stuff. And then, you got the parsley, or, everything was real small portions, so you could get a bunch of meals. So the meal for all 6 of us, I don't know, was like 300, 400-ish bucks. And then afterwards, we had some time, so we went to some nice ice cream place, and then we went home. So I probably spent about 900 bucks, and I remember because I had about $6,000 in cash in my pocket. And I remember thinking about that memory and how awesome that was to give my family that experience. I spent about 900 bucks. This was a few years ago, guys, right when both my businesses were going. The promotional business was going, making $100,000 a year. Detail shop was going, making $100,000 a year. So I'm making about $5,000 a week now, and $5,000 a week, be able to take 900 bucks to have that kind of experience was a fantastic thing. We took pictures, my parents frame it, we still talk about it every now and then because it was an experience. So does money buy happiness? I will let you decide on that. But this is what I want you to tell you. There was another time where I was in Los Angeles. First time in Los Angeles, I stayed in like this. It wasn't like a mega mansion, guys. It's not like it was 20,000 square feet, but it wasn't. I mean, it was like a nice house. And I was staying there, and for some reason, I didn't have a car. So I wanted to get some food. And I called up some places that delivered, but they were all closed. The close places that delivered were closed, and then there were further places that delivered, but they didn't want to deliver to me because I was like out of their territory. And I remember there was a couple times I was this one time specifically where I was on the phone trying to get delivery, and he goes, "Yeah, you're out of the area." I said, "Well, what if I tip really well?" "Yeah, I can't do that." "What if I just pay you a little bit more?" Because a lot of times if people don't want to deliver to you guys, it's because it doesn't benefit everything's about the business. So it doesn't benefit the business. If it's out of a certain area, they decided it costs too much money to drive out there. Or sometimes the driver doesn't want to drive out there. There's been times where I've wanted to order something, get it delivered, and they're like, "Yeah, we're a little bit you're out of the territory." I go, what if I just tip the driver really good? So if it's a $12 meal, how about I just give the driver $8, and you can even pre-put it on the credit card so you know you're going to get the tip. Something like that. And then they will agree to that. So I tried to do that on the phone call in LA, but it didn't work out. What I ended up doing, though, is I was able to get some service. They picked up the food and brought it to me. I don't know, it was kind of a weird thing. So I ended up getting a hamburger. And I got a hamburger delivered to me. I paid $48. I tipped like $6 to $8. So I paid, we'll say, $56 for a hamburger. Hamburger was not big, guys. It was not a McDonald's hamburger, but it was not like a big hamburger. No sides came with it. It was just a hamburger. I paid $56 for it. Now, some of you guys, some people would be watching this video. "Aaron, that's a little bit excessive, don't you think?" No, I don't think it's excessive. Money gives you freedom. Money gives you choices. Money gives you possibilities. When you have money, you have choices. And the more money you have, the more choices you have. What's one of the choices that I have? One of the choices I have is if I want to spend $900 to have a special evening with the people that are closest to me, I can throw $900 at it. No problem. If I want to get a hamburger and it's going to cost $56 to get a hamburger delivered that probably would go for about $5, I can do that because I have the choices. And then there's other people that are in other situations. There's other people who they have cavities. I remember when I was walking into Walmart, there's this guy and he was getting this was a while ago, but he was getting this thing to rub on his tooth, and he's sitting there and he's in all this pain because he has a cavity. Guys, guess what? When you have money, you can afford to get your cavity filled, and you don't have to go buy some cheap temporary thing. You can afford to get the problem fixed. There's someone that's close to me who is, she's getting some stem cells done. I don't know all the details, but she's getting like a stem cell procedure done to fix like her shoulder thing. It's going to cost like $2.5 or $3.5 grand. She's got to pay for it out of pocket. Okay? Money gives you the ability to do that. There was this guy in Primerica. he wasn't an RVP. He was higher than that. He makes like $1 million a year. Whatever the highest level was, that's who he was. I think his name was, he was the guy that got started when he was like 21. I forget his name. He was like one of the very kind of famous people in that community. He had an illness that the doctors couldn't figure out. And he just had he was able to spend money to where he had the money and the time to go see so many doctors. And he eventually found this like weird, expensive procedure. He had spent like almost $1 million to get this procedure done. It saved his life. Without that procedure, he would not be alive. But because he had the money, he was able to get the procedure done, literally saved his life. My sister, one of my sisters, had she got sick for a little bit, and she had an incurable illness. Well, guys, it just so happened that traditional medicine couldn't cure her. Non-traditional medicine could. So my mom eventually found like a holistic, organic doctor that literally was able to cure my sister of the disease in about 6 months. And she's been fine. It's been like 5 years. My sister's completely fine. The regular doctor said she's going to be sick forever. She's going to have to be on all these very bad drugs. But my mom didn't like the answer to that. She was able to finally find a solution for my sister. But guess what? Regular insurance doesn't cover that kind of stuff. Because regular insurance likes to cover the mainstream stuff. So my parents used money to help heal my sister. Now, my parents aren't like, they're not like rolling in dough or anything, but they were able to, they had enough money and they managed their finances well to where they were able to cover that and take care of all that. What's the number one thing couples argue? About money. See, guys, when you have money, if you have money, let's say you have lots of money and you have time, and you're going to do that by doing one thing and one thing only, guys. If you guys have been following me, you know that I've started over a dozen businesses. I've been listening to 2 to 3 hours of self-improvement a day for the last 10 years. So, you know that the way to get wealthy is to start a business, because you can automate it, you can systematize it, you can outsource it, you can have it run, you can have it grow by making you lots of money. When you have lots of money and you have lots of time, you have freedom. You can do what you want when you want. You can spend time with your significant other. You can spend time with your family. I remember, I'm giving you guys all these little short stories. I was at this campfire, again, this was, 6 years ago maybe, and I was talking to this girl, and she was, I was talking to her boyfriend who I was friends with, and then I just kind of started talking to her, and I was like, yeah, so, I don't know how the conversation got this way, but she told me how, like, she works nights and he works days. So they rarely ever see each other. They rarely get to spend time with each other. They don't really go on dates because they're working different shifts. When you have money, that fixes that. You don't have that problem anymore. That problem dissipates in the thin air because now you're in control of your life, and you can sleep when you want to sleep and work when you want to work, and you're probably not working that much because you have a business that's making you money. If you could spend more time doing the things you want to do, would that make you happy? If you could spend more time doing the things with the people you want to do the things with and spend time with the people you want to spend time with, would that make you happy? It probably would. And people are on different, people want to do different things. So like I have one of my aunts is fairly wealthy, so guess what she does with all of her time? She spends lots of her time helping out at the places she prays at. She's very big into that. She does a lot of volunteer work. She enjoys giving back to the community. Giving back to the community is great, but it's hard to do that, guys, when you're working 50 hours a week at a job you don't like, dealing with the boss who who could be better, working with an employee, having customers who you don't really like, and coworkers who are kind of stupid. All right, when you are in that environment and then you come home and you don't know which bill you're going to pay, you want to do all these things, but all your choices, you have to make all your choices based on the cheapest thing because you don't have money. That puts stress on you, and that gets eliminated when you get fucking rich. A lot of the problems that you have in life get fixed or greatly reduced when you have money to fix it. I see people all the time, guys, poor and middle class people, make every decision in scarcity because they don't have the money. Go look on my Facebook right now. So if you look on my Facebook, guys, it's kind of divided. I got friends of mine who are rich, raking in cash. One of my buddies, He rented Dan Bilzerian's jet for like a day or for a weekend, or I don't know how. Rented Dan Bilzerian's jet. That dude's rich. But then I have other friends who are, and I got another friend, just got a Lamborghini, okay? Then I see other people that I follow, and they're like, go look at their statuses. They say stuff like, I want to go on a cruise. What's the cheapest options? I'm looking to get someone to mow my lawn. Who's the cheapest person? I need to buy new clothes. Where's the cheapest place to buy the clothes? I need to get my car fixed. Where's the cheapest place to buy tires? What's the commonality, the common thread that runs through all those things I just gave you? They fucking are not rich. They're making all the decisions based on price. How about quality? How about experience? How about not worrying about the cheapest cruise? Going on the cruise you want to go on. When I took my family and it's currently my ex-girlfriend, to the restaurant, guys, we didn't do it based on the cheapest thing. We did it based on the experience because I was in control and I got my money situation handled. We did it based on what would be not the cheapest vehicle to rent, a nice vehicle to rent. Where's the restaurant? Then we go to the expensive restaurant. Then guess what we do at the expensive restaurant? We don't order the cheapest shit. I say, I want you guys to order what you want. Get something that's expensive. Do what makes you happy. So we got nice food, right? There's some people that go to the steakhouse and then they get the cheapest thing on the menu just so they can check in the Facebook and say, hey, I'm at the steakhouse. Why don't you just get rich so you can live the life you want to live, so you can do the things you want to do? It might be good, it might be bad. I really don't care. Doesn't really matter to me. But in the world we live in, the way that the game is structured, the more money you have, the more choices you have, and the more choices you have gives you freedom. When you can get to the point to where you're making just a tremendous amount of money, all your bills are paid, you have no debt. You don't have to have a job anymore because your business is running for you, making you money on autopilot. You have freedom. You get to do what you want when you want. You get to wake up and no longer does your boss get to control you and tell you when you come into work. You wake up now and you're in control. What do you want to do today? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? What do you want to do? You're in control, but you can only get that when you get your money situation handled. And you can only do that by getting rich. You can't have these kind of choices and by being poor, and you can't be middle class. The only option, guys, is to get rich. Because the way inflation's going, the way the middle class is disappearing, and how you're supposed to save a lot of money too, you ain't going to do it by making 20 grand a year. You ain't going to do it by making 50 grand a year. You ain't going to do it by making 100 grand a year. You're going to be doing it by making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year at minimum, or millions of dollars a year, and have a business that's running for you, making you money on autopilot, along with knowing all the strategies and tactics and tools you need to do to get you to that point. One of the things that I like to say is everyone's on a different path in life. I'm just there to try to help people get their money situation handled so they can go do the things they want to do, right? I got some people that watch this channel and they're young guys and they just want to go out and party and have a good time. Great. Get your money situation handled so you can go do that. I got another guy who I was actually talking to on the phone a couple weeks ago. He's married. All he wants to do is just quit his job and be able to spend more time doing things that he wants to do and hang out with his wife more. Good. Get fucking rich so you can do that. Maybe you want to volunteer at your church or wherever you go to pray. Good. Get rich so you can do that. Maybe you want to spend more time with your significant other or with your kids. Or maybe you have extracurricular activities you want to pursue. Or maybe you just want to be able to wake up and not be fucking worried about bills all the time. Driving down the street, fuck, I need to get this thing on my car fixed, but I don't have the money. My tires are kind of flat. I don't have money to get new tires. Maybe you just don't want to have to deal with all that bullshit and all that worry, which comes from not getting your money handled. I say go out there and get fucking rich and then do whatever it is that you want to do that makes you happy.